morning, everyone. This is Commissioner Starr. Today is Tuesday, May 16th, 2023, and we'll call this meeting to order at 8:01 a.m. Before we get started, I'd like to remind everyone to mute their phone. You can do this by pressing star 6. Please unmute yourself when called to speak, again pressing star 6. It is very important for all others to remain muted. Thank you. Okay, let's start with the Board of Commissioner roll call. Commissioner Bell, are you with us?
Good morning, I'm here.
Good morning, and I assume I am now able to be heard since you answered me, so that's all good news. I'm going to check for Commissioner Yamamoto. I know he is attending a conference out of area. Commissioner Yamamoto, were you able to join us? Okay, not hearing. I assume that he is busily attending sessions at the Western Regional Conference of NACO. So we will get started. We will start with Adventist Health Tillamook. Eric Swanson.
Hey, good morning, Commissioner.
Good morning.
We have 13 patients in the hospital today. I don't have our surgery count for today yet. We've got our ambulance crews did 691 transports yesterday, no transfers and no transports home. Across Oregon, there's 79 patients boarding in emergency departments. That's 19 more than yesterday. And there's 375 patients that are should be discharged from hospitals, but are delayed because there's no place to go. That's 10 less than yesterday. Last week was hospital week. We had all kinds of fun celebrations for our associates. But the one I want to share with you today is we had the Daisy Award Nurse ceremony last week, and I'm pleased to share with you that Rich Brainerd, who is one of our RNs working in the emergency department, was our Daisy Award Nurse for the year, and he is nominated by his peers, and he had multiple nominations, and I have personally worked with Rich as when I was working as a paramedic, and he is an outstanding nurse, and so proud of him, and great way to celebrate the Daisy Award with Rich winning it this year. So with that, unless you have questions, I will go back on mute.
Perfect. Thank you. Any questions for Eric? Hearing none, we'll just pass our congratulations as well on to Rich for his Daisy Award. That is wonderful. We know how important our HR department is, or our ER department is to so many in our community. Thank you for that. Okay, as always, I'm going to give a shout out to the Coastal Caucus just in case there's anybody who was able to join us this morning. I know I ran into Representative Javity at Fred Meyer on Sunday, and he said it is just a very, very busy time down there, and as they continue to work through bills in the House and in committees of the Senate. So, all right, moving on, we will go to the Tillamook County Community Health Center. Ed Colson, are you with us?
Yes, good morning, Commissioner. Good morning, Tillamook County. In alignment with the federal COVID-19 public health emergency that ended on May 11th, Oregon State health officials are lifting or changing measures that help reduce COVID-19 infections, hospitalizations, and deaths, and expanded access to services during the pandemic. Many of these changes will be outlined in the new investigative guidelines, which will hopefully be published early next week. What we expect to see changes to are isolation recommendations for the general population, reporting requirements, healthcare worker vaccination requirements, and outbreak thresholds for congregate care settings. Now, we will be sure to share out this information as it becomes available, and then also more details on these changes are available on the Oregon Health Authority's website. Flu and COVID-19 vaccines remain available by appointment at many healthcare facilities and pharmacies in the county, including at our main health center location. As a reminder, the health department will be offering COVID vaccines by appointment on Tuesdays and Thursday only. If you do have questions on if you are eligible for another booster or not, please either contact your own primary care provider, or you can call our public health nurse who will help guide you. For resources and support in finding a vaccine, you can call the public health line at 503-842-3940 or at 211. And at-home COVID test kits still remain available at all county library branches, as well as at our main clinic off of 9th Street. Now, May is Women's Health Month, along with the celebration of women and mother figures in our lives that occurred over the weekend. We would like to raise awareness around women's health and encourage women and girls to prioritize their well-being. Women experience many diverse and unique health concerns in all stages of their lives, and routine health screenings, such as a pap smear and mammograms, play an important role in health and wellness. So to learn more, please visit our Facebook page, Tillamook CHC, to hear our family physician and medical director, Dr. Steffi, share important information on this topic and on Tillamook Today on KTIL2. Please note, the Tillamook County Community Health Center will be closed from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. Tomorrow, the 17th, for an all-staff training, which requires us to close our clinic in order for all to attend. We will be back the remainder of our business hours, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. You can reach a provider on call during this time by giving a call at 503-842-3900. And if you are having an emergency, please dial 911. Lastly, continuing the launch of our new Fentanyl Aware Northwest campaign, last week we're going to provide some information on the first phase, which is Fentanyl 101. Now, fentanyl is a synthetic opioid that is tasteless, odorless, and extremely potent. To put into perspective, a dose of fentanyl is up to 50 times stronger than heroin and up to 100 times stronger than morphine. The current drug supply is especially dangerous in part because such a small amount of fentanyl can be lethal. Even one pill or dose is enough to end a young person's life. Now, according to the CDC, fentanyl is involved in more deaths of Americans under 50 than any other cause of death, including heart disease, cancer, and all other accidents. Among teenagers, overdose deaths linked to synthetic opioids like fentanyl tripled in the past 2 years, yet 73% have never heard of fake prescription pills being made with fentanyl. So to learn more, please go to fentanylawarenorthwest.com, or please check out our website or our Facebook page, Tillamook County Community Health Center. And with that, we'll turn it back over to you, Commissioner.
Thank you, Ed. Appreciate that. Lots of good information. Any questions for Ed? Okay, thank you so much. We appreciate that. Moving on, Nehalem Bay Health Center and Pharmacy. Gail, are you with us?
Yes, good morning.
Good morning.
Just a few announcements from the Nehalem Bay Health Center and Pharmacy. Excuse me. We do have COVID tests that are still available. They are at no charge. They are available here for pickup. And also we continue to schedule the bivalent boosters, the second boosters, usually on Monday, Tuesday, or Thursdays. Please give us a call at 800-368-5182. And also, another announcement about our patient transportation services. If you do need transportation to and from your healthcare appointments, please do not hesitate to give us a call, and we'll help you set that up. 800-368-5182. And those are my announcements for this morning.
Thank you, Gail. Any questions for Gail? Okay. Hearing none, we will move on to the Tillamook Family Counseling Center. Frank, are you with us this morning?
Good morning. Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
Frank Kenna Williams, Director, Tillamook Family Counseling Center, Behavioral Health Services for Tillamook County residents. Just very brief this morning. If you have questions about service availability, questions about appointments, questions about any of services that we provide, behavioral health services, concerns that may be a bit more urgent or require the attention or response of our clinician who may be on call. And please contact us at 503-842-8201 or 1-800-962-2851. And I don't have any other information, but I will accept any questions if you have any at this time.
Thank you, Frank. Any questions for Frank? Not hearing any, I just want to harken back to our meeting that we had last week, our commissioner meeting, where we had an opportunity to visit with Frank about this being Mental Health Awareness Month, and just remind everyone that mental health is physical health. It is something that impacts all of us every day. It is something that we, I think, have a bit of a stigma for in our nation about seeking assistance when our mental health may not be at 100%, but we don't treat our physical health the same way. If our physical health is not good, we go to see our physician. And I would just like to remind everyone and encourage everyone that mental health is physical health, and that if you are not feeling well, if you are having undue anxiety, stress, anything that's really impacting that mental health, that you take the same step and you see a provider and get some help with that. So just wanted to remind everyone, mental health is physical health. So thank you for that, Frank. It was a great conversation at our board meeting last week.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Absolutely. Okay, moving on to the Sheriff's Office. Sheriff Brown, are you with us this morning?
This is Under Sheriff Kelly. The sheriff got tied up on something. I don't have anything prepared, but I am here for question if anybody has any.
Thank you, Undersheriff. Any questions for the Undersheriff? Okay, not hearing any, we will move on to Emergency Management. Randy Thorpe.
Good morning, Commissioner.
Good morning.
I really don't have any updates either, other than I just want to make sure people understand if they've gotten those alerts for the flash flooding and excessive snowmelt, river rising. That is basically for the east side of our Cascade Range here and not us on the coast side. So don't get extremely alarmed over if you do get those alerts through Nixle. I noticed that they were sending those out, and if you look really closely, it does just specify it's on the east slopes of the coastal range. So anyway, it looks like we've got through our hot temperatures, and we're supposed to have some great weather this weekend. So be safe while you're out there, and enjoy the nice cooler weather. And like you say, just stay safe if you're around any of the water and with the ocean. I noticed that there was some rescues happening over the weekend, so just be careful while you're out there. And that's all I have for today.
Thank you, Randy. Any questions for Randy? Okay, not hearing any, we'll move on to the Board of Commissioners. Commissioner Bell, would you like to kick us off?
Good morning. I'd be happy to. So it's election day, and I just want to ask folks who are listening, if you think your ballot is at home someplace in a pile of mail, please go home and fill it out and drop it off. You can drop it off at the courthouse, and also there are ballot drop-offs throughout the county. And you can find those easily on the clerk's website. It's very important. A lot of important things are going to be decided in this election, and so please vote if you haven't. And also I wanted to follow up a little bit on the Budget Committee meeting that we had last week, because we talked about it in this meeting last week. So we had a Budget Committee meeting last week on Wednesday, and some folks from the public came and gave testimony, which we appreciated, and the outcome of it, I think, was positive. We agreed as a committee that we, of course, value public safety, and we value the Sheriff's Department, and if cuts need to be made in our budget, we don't want to start there. And we talked about the situation, the budgeting situation that we're moving in with projected revenue shortfalls, and that there may be extreme measures that have to be made, and we just don't want to start with the sheriff's office right now. So we're moving forward. We're still in the process. Nothing's finalized yet. The Budget Committee will meet one more time early in June. Then the commissioners will presumably approve the budget in late June. And we will begin the hard work of figuring out what are our budgeting priorities if we're moving into a budgetary shortfall. What are our principles? What are our philosophy about how to do there? You know, we have two options: either reduce spending or increase revenue, or both. And how are we going to approach that? So that's where we're at. I think it was I think it was a good process. It was a good process. I'm really grateful for the citizen members of the Budget Committee and grateful for the public for participating. So I'll stop there. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Bell. Okay, I'm going to touch on a couple other things since Commissioner Bell hit the budget hearing for us. I had the opportunity last week on Thursday to head over to Hillsborough for the day, actually to Banks for the day, for our Columbia Pacific Economic Development meeting and our Northwest Act, which is the Northwest Area Commission on Transportation. So at the Columbia Pacific Economic Development meeting, which this is a regional organization that supports community development across Tillamook, Clatsop, Columbia, and parts of western Washington counties. We had some pretty robust conversation around the Habitat Conservation Plan, as well as the biological opinion, really having that economic development organization take a look at the impacts for the region. I know you've heard us all talk about the impacts for Tillamook County. The impacts for the region are equally challenging and potentially detrimental to our economy. So it was great to have that regional organization take up that cause, as well as they were sending in comments on the biological opinion in support of the same types of things that we have been saying in our county, as how detrimental it can be if we are unable to develop in floodplains and if we are unable to even repair or replace buildings that are damaged. So again, great to have the support of a more regional organization as we continue to work through that process with the biological opinion. We did get good news on the biological opinion, which was that FEMA, they have extended the public comment period by 30 days, which allows additional public comment to be taken in relation to the biological opinion. If you are interested in that and have not yet made public comment, please reach out. We will get you connected with the webpage that you need to make that public comment, talking about specifically how damaging it would be perhaps to you as a property owner or you as a business owner that exist in the current floodplain, based on what they are suggesting would be their implementation. The Northwest Area Commission on Transportation had the opportunity to hear from ODOT directly on their state transportation improvement plan. Unfortunately, the public comment period on that plan is over, but you can search on the ODOT website for the State Transportation Improvement Plan and learn more about what ODOT is thinking in terms of what will drive their work in the future. There was definitely a lot of talk about climate change, talk about trying to encourage people to use alternative modes of conversation. We had a good conversation with them relating to the facts as they exist for our rural communities when you start talking about alternative transportation. And that would be that largely it does not exist in a way that is useful if that is to be your daily transportation and to get from here perhaps so to Portland, for example, if you are working, or even for those of us who need to shop and get other materials there. So it was a good conversation. It was one that they said absolutely, as you dig deeper in the plan, you will find spaces where we are referencing that and acknowledging in our plan that strategies will be different in all regions of the state. So please feel free to search into their plan. Again, unfortunately, public comment is not open on that plan. It has been taken for, I believe, the last year in various iterations of the plan. We also had our Highway Safety on 6, the Highway 6 Safety Project stakeholder meeting this last week, which was a great opportunity. ODOT presented to the stakeholder group the plan, the research that they've collected so far, which included very specific areas of the highway and very specific needs. It identified areas where passing lanes currently exist and areas where perhaps in the future passing lanes could exist in addition to or instead to make it more safe. They identified areas where there could be rumble strips. They went through and identified from what they have heard from everyone in the community what they thought were the most likely fixes for these areas. And then they asked us as a committee to provide some input on what would be our priorities. Of course, ODOT will have to choose priorities based on funding available, which, to be clear, at this time, there is no funding available to implement these safety measures. These are our advisory at this time. So it's still a great process, still good information going to ODOT. One of the key areas that people talked about improving was at the Wilson River Loop, and that is one area that is currently in an upcoming transportation plan. It should start being designed in 2024 with a build hopefully in 2026. So that may sound like a long time, but that is how the wheels of ODOT turn, is slowly. If we think our local government wheels turn slowly, the state is even slower. So good news, lots of conversation. The other thing I will share, and I apologize this is so late, I was not made aware of this open house until that meeting last week on Tuesday evening, but there is an open house today from 5 to 6:30 p.m. at the Port of Tillamook Bay main conference room, 4000 Blimp Boulevard, for the general public to see the same information that we have seen. So it will identify those areas where they are suggesting changes would be beneficial based on what they've heard from the community, and will give you a chance to provide, again, more input. So again, I apologize for the short notice on that meeting. The online open house is also open, and that will be open until May 26th. That is a place where you can go take a look at what data they have collected and provide your comments. So if you're unable to attend the meeting in person today, please feel free to go to the ODOT. It's just ODOT Open House, and then if you search safety on, Highway 6, Wilson River Highway Corridor Study, you should be able to find this open house and have the opportunity to make comments. So please continue to be involved. It's a good body of work that we certainly hope will lead us to some safer areas on our highway. The last thing that I want to touch on is I had the opportunity to attend the Keith Jones Universal Access Tour last week, which was a luncheon organized by Sammy's Place and Oregon Coast Disability Network that really was amazing. So Keith Jones is an individual who has lived with physical disability for his entire life. He gave a lot of insight into what it's like to be experiencing disability and to interact with the world in general, and how difficult it is, and how rarely our world is designed for people who are otherwise able. And he challenged us in Tillamook and Clatsop counties to do better, to look at spaces where we have not designed our world for those who are otherwise able, and to make changes, to not accept that, well, there's only a few people, well, we don't need that ramp that often, but to recognize that if we had that ramp as an example, perhaps many more people would access the facilities into which it leads. We think we don't need it because people don't try because they know they can't get there. So there's a lot of things. Ramps is just one very minimal example that I'll use today, but really thinking about what's it like for someone perhaps who is sight impaired, what's it like for someone who's hearing impaired, what's it like for someone with a developmental disability. There are so many different ways that people are otherwise able, and how do we make our world welcoming and accessible to all. So I will leave it there, but it was a very inspiring conversation, and I just invite everyone to ask themselves those questions today and to really think about what small step can you take in your world to make it more available to people. Okay, with that, I will move on to our cities, and we have the city of Manzanita, and I believe we have Linda Kozlowski with us today, as our two regular folks were off to do something else today. Linda, are you with us? Okay, I am not hearing Linda, so we will go ahead and move on to Rockaway Beach. Do we have Mayor Charles McNeely?
Hi, everybody. Good morning. Last week's council meeting was quite busy. Tillamook County Community Development Director Sarah Abser provided our community and council with updates on SB 406 and the integration of NFIP and ESA. I was impressed with her command of the facts and history and her clear, easily understood delivery. Hats off and kudos to Director Absner, and we really appreciate her taking time out of her busy schedule to drop into our council meeting. Additionally, council approved a one-year extension of the intergovernmental agreement between Rockaway Beach and the Tillamook County Sheriff's Office for law enforcement services. Our deputies, the Sheriff's Office, and Under Sheriff Matt Kelly have been exceptional partners, and we look forward to building on what is already in place. The Council adopted the city budget for fiscal year 2023-2024, as well as state revenue sharing. And again, very much appreciate all the work that the city staff did and the budget committee did to get it to this place. We did select a volunteer of the year. We selected Sandy Johnson. Sandy organized our candidate forum last fall, helps coordinate our city's core of volunteers, wrote a grant for the city to receive funding to develop a watershed management program. She does a lot of beautification within the city, including watering the flowers up and down 101. She is on our planning commission and a regular attendee at council workshops and meetings. Sandy is certainly well deserving of this honor. We also, or I should say the council also selected the 2023 Parade Grand Marshal. In point of fact, we had a three-way tie, so we will have 3 Grand Marshals this year. Terry Walhood, Ronnie Duckworth, and the Rockaway Roastery. A first for us to actually pick a business to be a Grand Marshal. Terry's contribution to Rockaway Beach is legend, and Ronnie never passes up a chance to help a neighbor. Most notable in being there for Cindy K. Gregory during her end-of-life illness. Finally, the impact of the Rockaway Roastery on our community is deep and wide, from hosting writer seminars, poetry readings, live music, and trivia nights. The Roastery is a community gathering place. And so if you're ever in our town, let me know. I'd enjoy buying you your favorite coffee beverage at the Roastery. And then moving on from the council, we are having our second listening session for the Salmonberry Trail project this Wednesday at 6 p.m. in City Hall. The Planning Commission meets on Thursday at 4:30 p.m. in City Hall, and we're taking applications for the opening on our Planning Commission. Finally, I am excited to announce that Mary Johnson has accepted our offer to join our city staff as full-time city planner, effective June 1st. Mary Johnson brings with her over 10 years of management and legal experience, as well as first-class communication, outreach, and public relations skills. She is the chairperson for the Tillamook County Transportation District Board of Directors, serves on the Board of Directors for the Tillamook County Visitors Association, and will soon be a member of the Tillamook County Housing Commission. Kudos to City Manager Luke Shepard and city staff who have attracted 2 stellar individuals in Melissa Thompson-Kiefer as City Recorder and Mary Johnson as City Planner. Both, of course, are starting effective June 1st. Back to you, Commissioner.
Thank you so much, Mayor. Appreciate it. And I may take you up on that cup of coffee. I have yet to make it to the Roastery, but I'm hearing great things.
Please do. I would enjoy meeting you in person.
Wonderful. I'll shoot you an email and see if we can get that on the calendar. Okay, moving on to the city of Garibaldi, and it looks like Mayor Tim Hall is back from his scuba diving trip. Mayor Hall.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, Garibaldi had a city council meeting last night where we discussed a number of issues, including a utility rate increase that's under consideration to help us address our budget problems. We also passed a ordinance on the footpath and bicycle trails. This will help us support the Salmonberry Trail that will be coming through our city. Also, we're reevaluating the city manager recruitment process to make sure that we have qualified candidates. We went through months of a process only to have the one individual who was selected back out of the job at the last minute, so we're almost starting from scratch. Also, we are looking at hiring either a temporary or part-time public works director so that we can get some of the projects that have been delayed actually completed. We are also going to be holding a town hall meeting that I would invite the residents of Garibaldi and businesses to attend. That's going to be on May 31st at the community room at City Hall at 5:30 p.m. That's again May 31st. We're also having a council special session to talk about the Garibaldi urban renewal, a couple of applications that have come in that need the city's approval. And also we need to talk about a process for the potential sale of properties that were acquired by Garibaldi years ago as an investment. Where there used to be buildings, there are now vacant lots, and we'd like to have those properties considered for sale so that we can encourage businesses to come into Garibaldi. That's all that I have this morning, and thanks for the warm welcome back.
All right, thank you, Mayor. Appreciate it. Okay, moving on to Bay City. Mayor David McCall.
Yes, good morning, Commissioners. Can you hear me?
Good morning, we can.
Okay, so I would just like to tell a little story of neighboring cooperation. So as many folks know, Bay City has interties with a couple different neighbors around, the most significant being the city of Tillamook. This is basically a water line connecting Bay City and Tillamook. And so that if one of us loses water or is not able to supply enough water, we can open up that valve and get some water from the other city to make sure that we all have water. And it's important because it's not only the city of Tillamook and the city of Bay City, but the city of Tillamook also supplies water to several water districts, and Bay City supplies to 4 different water districts and the creamery. So this intertie was installed, 12, 14 years ago, and we've utilized it several times. But what we found was the majority of the times it was opening up to help Tillamook or to help areas around. And the most recent, very notable use of this was when we had the Pike Road fire. And we didn't use it to bring water into Bay City proper, but we used it to help out the area so that we had enough water to fight those fires that were going on there. So it's supplemented, but we'd never tried to see if this would, or how long it would sustain the city of Bay City just with the intertie. And so about a week and a half ago, our staff, in conjunction with the Tillamook City staff, started a trial on that to see how it would go and how much capacity we could get out of this. And so I want to thank the city of Tillamook for being good partners with us on that and trying it, because we don't want to have to do something for the first time when it's an emergency and we need it dearest. It's much better to be prepared, and that is what has happened now. And now we know the possibilities and the limits with this intertie. So thank you for your cooperation, city of Tillamook, and it makes us sleep a whole lot better knowing that this is there. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Appreciate that. And we love how our county, our cities, the interconnectedness of how we all survive here, and appreciate the work that you and the city of Tillamook are doing to make sure that infrastructure is strong. Okay, so moving on to the city of Tillamook, do I have Nathan George, city manager, with us today?
Yes, good morning, Commissioner. Can you hear me?
I can. Good morning, Nathan.
Thank you. I wanted to say thank you to Mayor McCall. We appreciate that. We certainly like to work together with all of our partners in our area and our community. Last night, I wanted to give an update. We had a council meeting, actually one of our shorter meetings, which was fine. We had a request to approve purchase of a wastewater treatment plant sludge screw press, which was approved. This is essentially a press that will take our sludge and compress it and get most of the water out of it. The problem we're having right now is the treatment plant, the landfill where we take it to in Corvallis is coming down with changing regulations. We'll no longer be able to bring it over there with a lot of moisture in it. So this will actually remove most of the moisture, which is good, and it also significantly saves us money as we'll only be hauling sludge and not a whole bunch of water included in that. So that was a really good move, and be helpful for the city and helpful for the cost for our residents and our taxpayers. Also, we had the request to hold a second reading and adoption for an ordinance updating the zoning code regarding accessory dwelling units. So that was approved at the second reading and the adoption. In short, what that does is it brings us into state code alliance into state code compliance, with accessory dwelling units. So if anybody has any questions on that, they can contact our city planning office. And that was it from the council meeting. So in the Public Works Department, our streets division is performing maintenance in the storm bioswales along Pacific and Main Avenues, as well as our regular street sweeping. So just as a reminder, I think I announced it a week or two ago, but ODOT is partnering with us as we work to keep those storm bioswales along 101 along Pacific and Avenue for the main part of those streets. Those are in ODOT right away, and we have worked extensively with ODOT to try to update them or change them. They cannot do that because of the regulatory issues. They are designed to filter all the fluids and issues coming off of vehicles, and they cannot be changed except for just switching out plants with the same plants that they have. So the only other option we have is to have a massive amount of money and go in and take those out and put in filtration vaults, which is a totally different scenario. So neither ODOT nor the city has the money to replace those. However, ODOT is pitching in. They're spending 8 hours a month on helping clean those, and our streets division cleans those and spends a dedicated amount of time every month doing that. The street sweeper will primarily be sweeping out cleaning the areas of 12th Street and Miller Avenue. This week, please be mindful of staff and equipment. We are also working on painting several yellow curbs around town. The water distribution division, the ones that take care of all the pipe work and all the distribution for our water system, is working on some leaks south of town. Water turnoffs due to non-payment will occur around noon today. To make a payment, please visit our website at tillamookor.gov/utility-payment, or you can just go on our website and find that link. In person or at City Hall, or you can call our main line, which is 503-842-2472, and that's also on our website. Depending on the tides of the ocean, the Public Works Department is cleaning out Carnahan Park boat ramp when we can. City of Tillamook hosted our third annual Touch a Truck event last Tuesday, the 9th, in honor of Public Service Recognition Week. And as everyone knows, a free, fun, family-friendly event where children of all ages and abilities explore trucks and large public service vehicles seen throughout Tillamook County. We want to thank everyone who participated. Not only do we want to thank our citizens, we want to thank the county, we want to thank the state, many agencies. We thank Fire District, TPUD. I'm sure I'm missing many, but there are many that came and helped, and we appreciate that. It was great to celebrate together a public service that we're all involved in. For inquiries and maintenance requests within the City of Tillamook, please email our Public Works Department at publicworks@tillamookor.gov. Inquiries are addressed in order they are received, and our Public Works Department operates 6:30 to 5 Monday through Thursday. In the Police Department, while the weather is beautiful, we're excited to get down to our destination. Your Tillamook police officers ask you to please slow down. Speeding is a major contributor to crashes. This last week, Traffic Officer Vanderhoff was working in partnership with the Oregon State Police and Highway 6. With 8 traffic stops in just under 2 hours, the slowest traffic stop was 76 miles an hour in a 55-mile-an-hour zone. That was the slowest one. Please take this as a friendly reminder. The base fine for 100 miles an hour or plus traffic violation can be $1,150 and requires a mandatory suspension of your driving privileges. There's no excuse to drive this fast. Please slow down. This is a serious public safety concern. Lieutenant Truxell attended the House Bill 4123 Coordinated Homeless Response Strategic Planning Workshop last week. This was a great opportunity to have firsthand real-world experience, and our city is seeing with the City of Tillamook. Touch a Truck was a great success from the Police Department. School Resource Officer Olson also attended, and he reported a great turnout. Lots of smiles from children, big and small. That was definitely the case for the Police Department and all of our different departments and all the other agencies that participated. And last week was also a great time where we able to celebrate internally too with our employees, which we really enjoyed. On Saturday, the Tillamook High School prom was downtown at Pacific Restaurant, and there on the plaza at 2nd Street. Prom was well attended, well received, and high school students had a great time with beautiful weather. There were no incidents reported. Everyone had a great time. It was a good work in partnership with our School Resource Officer Trent Olson, Pacific Restaurant, and Tillamook High School. I will add that I drove by and saw it, and it was a pretty neat event. Tillamook Planning Commission and the city's budget committee each have a vacancy. If you're interested in serving on any of these boards, please contact the city or apply online. Our website, which is tillamookor.gov. Reminder: if you see something, say something by calling 911 or dispatch if it's non-emergency. It is imperative that our residents and citizens call dispatch if they need to file a report with an officer, so that the incident gets logged into our 911 system and recorded. And the next regular public meeting, which is the annual budget committee meeting, where the city's fiscal year 2023-2024 municipal budget will be held next Monday at 6:30 on May 22nd, and our TURA will have their budget meeting at 6 o'clock. We encourage everyone who'd like to attend to either be in person or attend online. Those desiring to attend online can find the information on the city's website or call the city for assistance. And just for fun, I want everyone to know that I'm not going to Rockaway Beach, although we have many city managers going, and that's wonderful. That's all, Commissioner. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Nathan. Thank you for your levity as we go through this morning. Okay, South Tillamook County, Doug Olson, are you with us this morning? I do not see Doug on here.
Commissioner Scar?
Yes. Linda, you made it. Wonderful. Oh, darn it, technology. So we will circle. Yes, we will circle back to Manzanita and welcome Councilwoman Linda Kozlowski.
Thank you so much. I always hate to follow Nathan after his report, but here goes. So we have a couple of major projects coming up, and part of what we've done is we've just completed our budget with a public hearing that will happen on June the 14th. But the exciting thing this year is our city manager, who's pretty extraordinary, has come up with a 5-year projection which will allow us to really understand what our financial situation is as we look at infrastructure, improvement in infrastructure. As an example of that, one of the projects that we have online is a potential new city hall. And we're looking at options for funding, either self-funding through Business Oregon or going to a GEO bond. The go, no-go decision will be made after evaluating our projection, and a decision will be made on June 17th about whether to go forward. We just completed, our short-term rental committee just completed a survey. We had over 600 responses, which was really pretty exciting for us. And they will be presenting the results of that survey on the workshop on June the 14th. And the survey is really focused on livability and how to keep Manzanita a village while also depending on tourist revenue. So we're pretty excited about that as well. But the really big news is the City Council, after a 3-year hiatus, has permitted the July 4th parade, and we're very excited about having that back. This year, the theme is Back to Glory. It will be a 100% volunteer run. So if anyone is interested in volunteering, donating, or participating, go to Visit Manzanita website, and it will give you all of the instructions of how to be involved. And we really encourage citizens to get involved in this. It's truly a community event that we're very excited about. Lastly, Manzanita Library is having their annual book sale at the Pine Grove on Memorial Weekend, and it's a great event and a treasure for readers young and old. So we really encourage you to come visit Manzanita and buy a book. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Linda. Appreciate you joining us this morning, and I do apologize that you had trouble getting off mute, but it's definitely something we all go through.
Thank you, Commissioner Scott.
Yes, thank you. Okay, with that, we are ready to wrap up our community call, so we will thank KTIL for broadcasting and everyone for attending, and we will talk again next week. Thank you so much.